My name is Amber with Leyline Tarot. That's what I'm doing right now. Doing tarot for Leyline Tarot. It's just me though, so feels awkward introducing myself and then saying that. But anyway, I'm going to do a reading and I don't know what I'm going to do it for yet, but I want to make it kind of specific to a sign and a planet. Check out this rock for a second while I think about it. How about let's do okay, if you have Venus in Aquarius or Venus in Virgo, I know that those two signs are not supposed to be like one's earth and one's air, but they're both mutable, right? So I might be wrong. Let me double check in my mind real quick. Virgo is mutable and Aquarius is mutable, yeah, because Libra is cardinal and then, no, Gemini is mutable. Aquarius is fixed air. Yeah, see, I had that wrong. But that's kind of why I'm in the mood to do tarot right now, because I want to just be random and not pinpoint stuff. And I feel like that's why I feel like these two signs are going to combine in this reading. A mutable and a fixed, but they're both very different. But yeah, I wanted to make them similar for some reason. So, okay, this is gonna be for Virgo, Venus, and Aquarius, Venus. So this card came out sideways. It's Cups. It looks like the King of Cups. And it's in all ice. There are 3 lines at the top and a cup on the bottom. And this deck is in Russian, so I never really went over it, and I just kind of go with how I feel when I look at the cards instead of paying too much attention to this. But it's like an icy throne, and the throne is on a pedestal, and the pedestal is made of ice, and the ice is everywhere, and it almost looks like the emperor or empress. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's like this pedestaled figure, almost looks like a statue on top of an ice throne, and their eyes are closed and it looks like they're in a meditative state. So it's kind of just like holding in your emotions as a strength, not to repress them. Because it came out sideways, so it's like maybe it's something that you are going to be doing in the future or something that you're going to need to do. Yeah, or maybe you need to think about your emotions for a little bit. You might be needing to, for Virgo or Aquarius Venus, needing to sit with your emotions for a moment This is a 17 number, and the woman is sitting next to a creek overlooking flowing water, and inside of the flowing water there is a little stream of water within the stream, and it looks like a little swirl, like if it were a snake made of water. So it could even be like a fish made like a little trail really quick of bubbles or something like that. But then there's a similar pattern in the clouds in the sky. So it's looking at an emotion and then realizing that that emotion is also outside of you. Kind of like on this throne picture on this card, where it's the person is not made of ice, but the pedestal and the throne that's on the pedestal are made of ice. Almost like they just blend together. They could be completely separate and then just iced over. So it's like maybe looking at something a little bit too logically, and it's not that you need to like release an emotion, it's just that you might need to understand what you're looking at it logically for, because it's, something that you just kind of need to I want to say let go of, but that's not what I mean. It's like you need to understand like a lesson, but it's not a lesson. It's just like, what did you get out of this? Like if you go somewhere and try something that surprises you, but it's not impressing you, so you keep thinking about it because it was so different, but you didn't really ask for it, and it's not something you're asking for again, but you keep thinking about it. And maybe there's a reason you're thinking about it. Maybe there's something that forks into another pathway that would take you into new territory. But it's disguised with needing to... Okay, so it's like you need to leave something behind that's moving around within your heart and mind. It's like doing this back and forth emotion, where it's like you keep considering just something. I want to say it could be like a moment or a situation, or just something where it's vague but pinpointed at the same time, and you keep thinking about it, but you need to realize that there's literally a lesson that when you leave this thing had opened a new doorway that has nothing to do with what the thing is. So it's like once you finally let go of this thing that you don't even really like that much, but you kind of are interested in, once you let go of that, Virgo and Aquarius Venus, once you let go of that, that thing specifically is going to open a new doorway for you into something that you were already asking for, but you would not have gotten if you didn't go over this other thing. So it's kind of like you are opening up a bakery or something, and if you didn't go to the opera, you would not have seen a specific recipe that gives you an idea for troubleshooting a completely different recipe that helps you improve your bakery, if that makes sense. So there are a lot of 7s and 4s. Well, that's the 3 lines. This is 17, 74, 24, and 71. And it's the 7 and 4 of Pentacles in reverse. So also with these cards, I'm getting the feeling that once you leave this thing behind, it's going to feel like maybe you shouldn't have, because things might get more difficult. And that thing was like, it seemed like it was a foundation, but that's the whole lesson, is that this was a foundation, but it was like the foundation for the foundation, or I don't know. I had like, it's like a structural like propping up of something. It's like you're scared to get rid of the scaffolding after you set up, or something like that. Like, so it's like once you leave this thing behind that you can't stop thinking about, it's going to feel like maybe you should. And that's why you keep maybe going back to it, because it's like it feels better to not leave it behind. But once you leave it behind, it's going to leave an imprint in your mind, and that imprint is going to stay there. So it won't, you're not really leaving it behind. And then putting that in storage is like giving room to the next season. It's like putting your Christmas decorations away and getting the New Year's decorations out. Or whatever, not New Year's, Easter, whatever, I don't know. Valentine's Day, whatever holidays, I don't know. So it's like making room for the next season's decorations, but the season's not quite over yet, but you need that bare space, otherwise it just seems like a mess the whole way. You can't just have one season bleed into the next season. You need to clean it up before the next season begins. Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple more cards, one more card. I don't really know how much. So this is still for Virgo and Aquarius Venus. Okay, so after you leave this thing behind, it's actually going to seem like there are multiple smaller opportunities. So it's going to actually seem maybe even a little bit more difficult than what I made it sound just a moment ago, because none of these things are quite the thing you wanted. They are different and they are new and they are not the thing you left behind, but they're still sporadic and not the thing. So it's kind of going to be like when you go to an arcade and you find your arcade game. And then once you see the game, you're going to start playing the game and learning the controls for the game. And then you'll have finally the thing you want. But first you have to get to the arcade. So it's like you can't get into the arcade if you don't get into the car and then get out of the car. If you stay in the car the whole time, you're not going to be in the arcade. And once you're in the arcade, you might not like every game, but you're still in the arcade. And there might be an entire section of games that you do like, so then you can't decide which game you like out of all these games you like, but then you find one game in that section that is the best, and that's just a metaphor. And I'm going to end it there with just to verify. I know I said this like 10 times, but for Virgo and Aquarius Venus, and if those aren't your signs, whatever, that's cool too. Thank you for watching if you are. Thanks for watching. Bye.